if you were listening to the last show or watching the last show, you must be wondering what happened to Susan in the kitchen, mustn't you? Eh? And do you know what? Looking at my little pile of emails here, if I'm clever, we should get almost nearly through them all today. I've had my fingers and everything out. Well, not everything crossed, but at least my fingers are crossed. Okay? So, what happened? You see, if you missed the last show, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, do you? I've told you time and time again, you've got to listen to this show. You've got to listen to all of them or watch all of them. Welcome along. This is Chris Reardon with today's United Kingdom torch? Who's a torch? United Kingdom talk. An ongoing life story in my sad, lonely, pathetic existence on this earth. It really is. Okay. So Susan's in the kitchen. I'm not going to read the other half again. There's no point you saying to me, but I missed the last show. Oh, and you want forgiveness for that? I'm not a priest, dear. I'm not a priest. I cannot absolve you from the sins of missing a United Kingdom talk show, can I? I can't do that. I don't have the sacraments. God almighty, you'll have to go to your local church for that, dear. It's a bit like sinning, missing my shows. You choose to miss them. How do you think that makes me feel when you miss a show, eh? It's like another knife in the pack. It really is. Please stay with me for all time. On to Susan's email then. Now, if you missed the last show, you can always catch it on the internet. All the shows are there going back to October 2005. Hours and hours of torture just for you to listen. And you can find those at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right, another email catch-up programme now. Okay, we've had quite a few of these over the recent weeks, but we will get there, I'm sure. Susan says, also, that first year of marriage, I was heating a pan of cooking oil to make French fries. Yeah, Susan's telling us all about her disasters. We like disasters. We're not that bad, but we do like disasters. While it was heating, I went into the bedroom to ask my husband a question. He was watching television, and I got interested in the show he was watching. It wasn't until the circuit breakers in the bedroom closet started tripping that I remembered the pan on the stove. We ran into the kitchen and the flames had already burnt up the range hood and melted the plastic cover over the fluorescent ceiling fixture. Oh my word. My husband grabbed the pan off the stove and ran with it into the bathroom and turned on the shower. Oh, that's the worst thing you can do. Thankfully, he managed to put the flames out, but the poor kitchen was a disaster. Oh, my word. That's awful. It's fun. Oh, the phone's ringing now. I'm not going to... Just a minute. Let me turn the speaker off. 1 minute. I tell people when I'm recording the show. I tell them, and they do it purposely, I'm sure. Anyway, you see, I too, years ago, this would be 1983, I was married for a short period of time, and we had a flat in Battersea. And it's quite funny you saying this, that your husband grabbed the pan, ran into the bathroom and turned on the shower. Because, as everyone knows, that's the last thing you do is put water on cooking oil. You mustn't do it, because the whole thing just goes whoosh. So, honestly, I don't know how he managed to put that out. He must have put a towel or something over it, had he? Anyway, so she was cooking some chips, actually, in one of those. 1983, you didn't really have many of those automatic chip fryer things. You know, you can now get gadgets that are specifically designed to fry chips. So they have all sorts of safety cutouts and temperature controls and all this. Well, we didn't have one of those. All we had was a chip pan and a basket. And she would put that on the cooker, you see, and turn the thing on. And when she thought the oil was hot enough, in would go the chips. So we were in the living room having dinner. And I can't remember what it was now. I wanted to go to the toilet or something. And I walked past the kitchen. And I looked in and I thought, where's all that smoke come from? And I walked over to the cooker. And I said, oh my God. So I called her, quick, this thing's going to go up. And at that moment, whoosh, up it went. Flames everywhere. Now, I just said to you, we all know you don't put water on chip fat. The first thing I did was grab a jug, fill it up with water and chuck it on. Well, of course, the whole whoosh it went. My God, you've never seen flames like it in all your life. She came in, cool, calm and collected, put a towel in the sink to make it damp, chucked it over the thing, the flames went out. I suppose it's a little bit how you are, really. I'm a bit of a panic freak. You know, you shouldn't tell me too many things about myself, certainly medical things. I always... You get these people who look around on the internet at all these medical things and things that could go wrong with you. And the next day they wake up in the morning and they've got everything. Are you a bit like that? Well, I'm one of those people that doesn't like to be told. I need to be told the bare minimum about myself, you know? But with fires... You must not put water on. I knew that at the time, but it's the first thing you do. You pick up a jug of water, and I threw it over the thing. Up the thing went. She was very calm and put the thing out, but it was an awful lot of damage. You know, for the flames were up there. No more than 10 seconds. All the ceiling was black. Oh, it was awful, and so frightening. So frightening. Chip pan fires, aren't they? Susan says, so please, Matty, have your mum show you how a fire extinguisher works and keep a small one in the kitchen. Now, that's the other thing. You say fire extinguishers there. I'll tell you that there are different types of fire extinguishers. Okay? Some chuck out water. Some chuck out foam. And one of them is a blanket. And the blanket or the foam would have been the ones to use in a chip fan fire. Okay, because the blanket, it's just like a little box and you put it on a wall somewhere. And if you get a fire, you literally pull this tag at the bottom of the box and out comes the fireproof blanket and you would just chuck it over the chip pan, you see. Or you would use the foam one. You would not put water on it. Very important. I'm going to say that again. Never ever put water on a chip pan fire. Believe me, I've had the experience and it's frightening. All right. Susan says they make some now that are in aerosol cans, fire extinguishers as well. Yeah, I've got a little one downstairs. Everyone has to learn these things and make mistakes. The trouble is when you make mistakes with fire, you can be damaged. Go and have fun learning to cook with your mum, Matty. It's better to have someone teach you these things before you have to learn them the hard way like I did. So it's a lovely email there from Susan. Thank you for sharing with us your woes there, really, Sue. Susan. There was an email from Matty. Let's see. I thought it was something to do with something he's cooked. Or maybe not. No. There's another one from Matty here. It says, had a good day today. Went to Lanston, had a jacket potato with salad and bought a few things like travel books and National Geographic magazine. Had a walk around Cataract Gorge in Launceston, Tasmania. Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, you like that National Geographic magazine, don't you, my love? Yeah. It's beautiful pictures in there, aren't they? And Cataract Gorge, what a name. Cataract. Actually, my sister's mother-in-law has been to the opticians on Saturday actually, and she's found she's got a cataract. Quite I believe, a basic operation to remove that, but nevertheless, it is an operation, and presumably you see what's going on and everything. I remember a friend of mine, May, she's an elderly lady. She doesn't live too far away from me, and she had 2 cataracts, and she had them both removed. And I always remembered her telling me before she went in for the operation, they give you all these leaflets to tell you what they're going to do and what have you. And she said she wished she'd never read the leaflets. Just go in and let them get on with it. And I do take the same. That's what I say to you, you know, about knowing too much. For me, it doesn't do. You're best to just, you know, if you've got to go and have something done, okay, you just go in. Appointment time, 9 o'clock, walk in and let them get on with it. Otherwise, for all those days before, you're reading these damn leaflets, which are very informative, but do nothing but worry the blooming life out of you. You know what I mean, don't you? Too much information is not a good thing. Thank you, Matty. It's funny you sort of mentioned the jacket potatoes there, actually, because I have a jacket potato twice a week, actually, with chili con carne and cheese. Oh, it's lovely. We have this shop in Clapham called... what's it called now? Oh, it's called Jackets. It's called Jackets. And they do all these different potatoes. Oh, it's lovely. Chili con carne and cheese. And I have the cheese underneath. You have the potato, right? So the bloke in the shop, he opens the potato, cuts it in half, mashes all the stuff in between, and then that's it, really. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, it's delicious. Delicious, Matty. Okay. Now, let's say hello to Millie. Millie, Millie, Millie. Millie, Millie, Millie. Yes, she's with us. She says, I have finally caught up with all the podcasts now. Yay me. I must say I'm feeling rather proud of myself for having accomplished that. We're all proud of you. Millie, we are proud. Proud as proud could be. I also had a chat on Facebook with your sister Sharon and really enjoyed it. Yeah, you can all find all my family on there, okay? My Facebook, if you ever want to add me to Facebook, that's easy enough. Just type in Chris Reardon London and have a look round there. You'll find which ones. I mean, there might be a few Chris's, okay? Chris Reardon London, and add me on there. We've got loads of people on there now, actually. Some very strange, some quite normal, unlike me and you, hey? Because we're not normal, are we? No, we're not. Normal is boring. Do not be normal. I think she and I will be good friends. On a somewhat more serious note, I know you've had a bit of a rough time lately, and I wanted to tell you if you need someone to talk to, I'm always available. As you keep telling me, Millie. The trouble is with Millie, I love it. I love it. Every time... I think, Millie, you've got a bit of a problem with over-analysing, my darling. Every time I put a mention on the status thing on Facebook, she's there. Are you okay? She's there. She's in there. You're over-analysing, Millie. Lovely lady. Right. Okay. And she's sending a big hug. And she also wrote to me here, because Millie somehow, some way... La 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 la. Do we know that one? Da 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 da. Suko, I know that one. I'm sure it's from a musical of some sort. Anyway, yes, Millie managed to get hold of my home number, and she woke me up the other morning. Oh, Millie, that's the worst thing you can do, my love. Worst thing you can do is ring me. Do you know, I think you spend your entire life on the phone. Is that right, Millie? You're ringing up people all over the world. What about your phone bill? It must be astronomical, dear. Astronomical, eh? We love it. She wrote to me, I'm ever so sorry I woke you up with that blooming phone call. I feel terrible. And so you should, dear. So you should waking me up for my beauty. You may notice, boys and girls, those of you watching the show on YouTube, that today I'm not particularly good looking. Now that's because I haven't had my beauty slip. And you can blame Millie. Can we all tut now at Millie? Are you ready to tut? Here we go. Now. Millie. It's because my beauty sleep was interrupted by Millie. Therefore, I am only half as good looking as I was on the last show. Terrible. So much for giving you a heads up to look after your birthday gift. Feel free to take revenge however you like. I'm going to take revenge, Millie. Do you know what I'm going to do? One day, when you're out in the shops, I'm going to come up behind you and let the tyres down on your wheelchair. Hey, oh, that shut you up, isn't it? We'll not have any more of that ringing up this time of the blooming morning, dear, or I shall let your tyres down. Now, I won't only let the tyres down, I will completely remove one of them. So as you're going along, you'll be leaning to one side, you see? Leaning as you're going along on that mode. That'll slow you down, won't it, eh? Terrible. We've had complaints here at the Mirable Studios about Millie and her motorised wheelchair, dear. Rushing through shopping centres in Minnesota, dear. Knocking these poor little kids out of the way. I think it's shocking. There should be laws against that sort of thing, you know. Onward. Look, it's Toby, our friend Toby, who says, thank you for reading out my email. Did you sing? I don't think I did, Toby. I don't think I did actually sing. He says, I'm looking forward to listening to it sooner or later. I'm listening to your last year's programme. You asked whether I would grow some plants. Yes, I remember doing that. I would definitely like to. My girlfriend is living in the countryside. Her father grows plants and she gives me carrots, pumpkins, eggplants once in a while. Come to it though, due to your high environmental sense. Oh yeah, I'm a great believer in recycling things and sustainable energy, solar panels, wind farms, that sort of thing. I really am a great believer in this. Now the thing is with the wind farms, there's a lot of people against them. They say it spoils the countryside, this, that and the other. Taking into account their views, perhaps, you see, I find it very difficult because I don't think they do. I don't think they are ugly. I think they're marvellous pieces of engineering and they don't look too bad at all to me. They look all right to me, but I can understand some people that don't want them because they spoil their view or whatever. All I would say is, really, what else do you want them to do? So it always seems to be a case of not in my backyard. Well, I'll tell you what, I'd be quite happy to have one of those wind turbines straight outside there. It wouldn't bother me at all. In fact, if I could have one, I'd be applying to have one put up there now to save on my electricity. I really would. But these people who say, well, we shouldn't have the wind farm, they spoil the fuel. Fine. We'll cut the electricity off then. You won't have any electricity. Because, you know, at some point we will run out of oil and coal. Ideally, we stop using it before the environment is so badly damaged it can't be repaired again. And then we're all finished, aren't we? Well, I mean, not probably you and me, not even your children, but what about the next lot after them? They're the ones who are going to have the problem. I mentioned that woman on the radio the other day who said, I don't want to use these energy-saving bulbs. She was a very bullshit woman. Was it Jenny? That was her name. Jenny. I can't bear her. She does this show on a London station. She's not interested in anyone else. It's me. I can't use these light bulbs because they don't come on quick enough and they flicker and they give me a headache. Well, fine. Think of everyone else, not just yourself. Toby says, will you grow plants with your wee and stools? Oh, no, I won't, Toby. That is just taking it too far, dear. I'm sorry, I can't be doing that, dear. We will not be growing plants with wees and stools. Thank you very much. But I am fully aware that some countries now do that. They pump raw sewage out onto the fields where they grow stuff. Not here in the UK, I don't think. Here we use horse manure and things like that. But there are countries I happen to know that they are using human shall we say, human fertiliser. Raw sewage being pumped out onto the plants. I mean, I suppose that's all right. It's just the thought of it, really, isn't it, Toby? He says, I think it's really good to our planet. I'm serious and not being sarcastic. I know you're serious. I've seen it on the telly. I've seen this. If I had a chance to grow plants, I would use my own fertilisers. What do you think? Cheerio from Toby. Well, if you did, you wouldn't need a toilet, would you? I mean, you just go outside over the nearest tomato plant, squat down and get on with it. But I'm sorry, Toby, it's not for me, that one, okay? It's really not for me. Let's say hello again to Craig. Hello, Craig, in Leicestershire, United Kingdom, watching the shows here on YouTube, and can say I found them to be very interesting, and you talk about a wide range of great topics. YouTube wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you, Craig. And hello to Doug in Akeley, USA, not Canada. I must get that right always. Hi, Chris. Enjoyed the talk about your TV licence. Oh yes, we were having that little discussion. I think I don't know if we are the only country in the world to have a TV licence. Here in the UK, you have to buy a TV licence to be able to watch any television channel. Okay, so one licence pays for all the. Well, it doesn't pay for all the channels. The money goes to the BBC. The BBC is not funded by advertising. It is funded by, here in the UK anyway, by TV licence. I gather, although I'm not sure, that BBC channels in other countries, some of them have adverts, do they? Someone will have to tell me that, because I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not in another country. Here in the UK, no adverts. We buy a TV licence, costs us £139.50 a year, and that runs the BBC. Television channels, radio channels, the most fantastic internet site. I'm a very, very pro-BBC person, always have been. I think they've got a few overpaid stars on their channel, but that's one of those things, all right? So I'm all for that. Doug says, was wondering if you guys still do that. I don't understand what you're saying there. It says, enjoyed the talk about your TV licence, was wondering if you guys still did that. Still did what? But I don't know what you're asking there. You'll have to come back to me on that. I don't know what you're asking. Enjoyed the talk about your TV licence, was wondering if you guys still did that. Did what? What, buy TV licence? Is that what you're saying? Well, yeah, I said that. You know, we all have to buy one a year. It's £139.50. He says, also, was wondering if the fee was based on a person's abilities to pay. In the general scheme of things, no, it isn't. Everyone pays the same, except, I believe, blind people get a very, very cheap TV licence. Obviously, they can't see the set, but they listen to it, and I think that's roughly about 10. It's very cheap. I think it's about £10 for blind people, and also certain councils here in the UK offer a subsidised television licence to old age pensioners. Okay, so it's not in the whole thing. It's not really based on ability to pay. For example, I would pay the same. I'm in full-time employment. I would pay the same as someone unemployed. Okay? He says, do you need a licence for listening to the radio as well? No. If you just had a radio in your house, or several radios in the house, and no television, you would not leave a licence. Now, you would not need a licence, even though you can listen to the BBC. Okay? So I hope that's quite clear there. You don't need a TV licence if you only have radios in the house. And those radios will quite happily play the BBC. So if you don't want a television, you don't buy a licence. He says, also, seem to remember reading in audio magazines, back in the 70s and 80s when hi-fi was fun, yeah, it was, wasn't it? That in the UK, you could not use a recorded cassette tape in your Walkman type player when out and about. Yeah, this is true. This is so true. It had to be a pre-recorded tape that you bought from a shop. Was wondering if this was true. Yes, it is true. The record companies and the Performing Rights Society had this rule, okay? Basically, when you're going to die when I tell you this. When cassette tapes came out, you were actually not allowed to record your own record collection and take it out with you. This went on for years and years and years. Nowadays, the Performing Rights Society and indeed the MCPS, which is like an umbrella organisation that collects monies for distribution to artists. They are much better now, and in the last couple of years have really caught up. For example, if you do a music podcast, okay? If you do a music podcast, you can now purchase a very reasonable license. A couple of years ago, you couldn't do that. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. They were all over the place. But you're quite right here. You were not allowed, even though you could go out and buy a cassette recorder and blank cassettes for, £2 to the pound, you were not allowed to tape music. You were allowed to use those tapes for your own voice, perhaps your own instrument playing, a piano or something like that, but you weren't actually allowed to record your own music. From other records and things like that. Absolutely ridiculous situation. It went on for years and years and years. And God knows, because the authorities at that time and the record companies, they dragged their heels. They were stuck in the mud and they wouldn't listen. They wouldn't listen. They must have lost a fortune in revenue because of this. An absolute fortune. And then when we moved into the digital age, it was the same thing. Record companies did not want you to have digital downloads. They didn't want it. I can understand why, because let's face it, how easy would it be for any of us to sit here, compile 10 tunes that they've got on the computer, knock it out on a CD and start giving it away? How easy would that be? But with all the illegal downloads that went on, they lost a fortune and they were forced. They were actually, I believe, record companies and people like that, they were forced to move into the digital age because of illegal downloaders. Probably remember a download site called Audio Galaxy. Fantastic site. There was, at the time, nothing legal. There was no legal download site. That was the ridiculous situation. But things like Audio Galaxy and at the time Napster, which is now a legal download, which I subscribe to. Do you know what? For just £9, there are, of course, many other legal download sites. For just £9.99 a month, I can download as much as I want. That's fantastic, isn't it? Don't you think? And when you're all sitting there on your LimeWire and your Winamp, not Winamp, but what was it? WinMX, wasn't it? And at the time, Audio Galaxy, you sit there downloading all this stuff free of charge, illegally, with the chance that you're going to be caught. People do get caught. People are prosecuted. For the sake of £9.99 a month, is it really worth it? Of course, in your own countries, you'll have your own legal download sites. But going right back to that again, Doug, yes, it was illegal to purchase a cassette recorder, some blank cassettes, and then tape your own music and take it out with you. That was illegal. Ridiculous, isn't it? However, as I say, the PRS, the MCPS, they've gone through some great changes. They've had to, and they seem to be doing all right now. And they've sorted themselves out. My God, it took them years to get there. Years. But I think they've sorted themselves out now. All right? Okay. Let's say hello to Kat and David on the Isle of Wight. Hello, you two. All right? I'm just a little bit concerned. I'm looking at my equipment here, and I think something's gone wrong. I might have to stop in a minute and have a little gap. Might have to play a jingle while I do something. All right? Because I have a feeling something's gone wrong. I can see that's working over there. That's not working. What shall I do? Shall we read it? Let's read the email first, and then we'll have a quick jingle while I sort things out. Hi Chris, it's Kat here from the Isle of Wight, or also known, incidentally, I don't know if you knew this, Kat. Isle of Wight is spelt ISLE of OF Wight, WIGHT. Also known by some people here on the mainland as Islay Widget. Islay Widget, Isle, Islay, of Widget, Wight, because that's how it looks. Islay Widget. Hi Chris, it's Kat here from the Islay Widget. A few months back in October time, I won £5,000. Money, 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 must be sunny in a rich man's world. Da, 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 money, 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 always sunny in a rich man's world. All the things I could do if I had a little money in a rich man's world. I sing a little bit of song there, a cappella. A little bit of a cappella there for you. Won £5,000 on the Thunderball. Da, 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 and spent the whole lot. Good on you, girl. I bought a laptop, a new TV. What are WWE tickets? Oh, I don't know what they are. WWE. WWE. I don't know what they are, Kat. What are WWE tickets? And paid for the hotel as well. What hotel? You're not giving me the whole story here, my darling. I understand the laptop, the TV, but what are WWE tickets? And what do you mean by paid for the hotel? You didn't say you were going on holiday? How dare you go on holiday without asking my permission first? What do you think this is, dear? Huh? If you're going away, please inform me first. I really enjoyed spending the money on lots of things, like clothes and that, which was very nice. My best thing I ever spent on was going to see WWE, which we are going again this year. What is it? What? I don't know what it is. I am looking forward. Now, you see, a lot of people do this. You're not the only one, Kat. They abbreviate things into letters. And quite often it completely throws people out. Now, I used to work on British Telecom directory inquiries for London 20 years ago now. And often people would ring up with an abbreviation for something. And you wouldn't have a blooming clue what they were going on about. Have you got the number, please, of the VRS? I say, VRS? Yeah, that's right, VRS in London. OK, one moment, please. And then you'd look. This was before computers. We had microfiche, which were like little films, little bits of square film, a little bit of square film, and you'd put it in this reader and find the phone number for the person. No, can't find anything under VRS, I'm afraid. Oh, don't be so stupid. Of course it's there. VRS in London, Victoria Railway Station. Huh? Hello? And you think, you stupid cow. Yeah, so be careful, boys and girls, when you're writing not just to me, to anyone. Be careful when you use abbreviations, because a lot of the time people don't know what the hell you're going on about, and indeed, in this case, I don't know what she means by WWE. Let me see. I've lost the place in there now. I'm looking forward to going again. That's the WWE, whatever that is. As I am 5 rows back from the ring, and David and we are going up London on the 19th of April, and are both staying at the Travel Lodge at the London Docklands, which we are looking forward to. Have you booked the hotel yet? Because quite often you can find, if you book now, like 3 months ahead, you will get the best deal. I have heard of deals in London for hotels at the moment for like £9 a night. Yeah, honest. So have a look round, darling, all right? And book it soon so you save the money. I have also helped my mum out with a few things as well. I bought our cat a few things as well. Let's just say I had fun spending the money. I've spent it all now. Take care from Cat and David. So there we are. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed spending the money. Bit disappointed, my dear, that you didn't save a bit for a rainy day. It's always important to save a little bit, my love. Yes. You should save a little bit, but, you spend it. Oh, well, whatever. Good on you, girl. Okay. Is it the wrestling WWE world? I have a feeling it's that American wrestling, isn't it? Which I'm sorry, I have to say this to our American viewers and listeners. Your wrestling is pants. It's absolute pants. These blokes don't get hurt. They don't. Years ago in the 70s, I used to watch wrestling on the telly with my dad. There would be Mick McManus, Giant Haystacks. Now, these were real men. Yes. They didn't have these bulging muscles and that because they're down a gym all the time or doing those dreadful steroid things or anything like that. These were real men. And they used to get in the ring and batter each other to pieces, dear. Not that I'm into violence, dear. Well, perhaps in private, but not in the street. Honestly, those American wrestling, the WWE, it's pansies. Pansies. They don't even hit each other. You watch it carefully. They're not even hitting each other. Oh, I don't know why you like that, Cat. I really don't. Thank you, my darling. We don't usually get much response from the live 365 feed of United Kingdom Talk. Oh, by the way, can I give you I haven't given you my email address today, have I? If you want to join in, please feel free to do so. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right? Now, as I was saying, we don't get much... I was going to stop here and have a... let's just do this one. We don't get much response from our live 365 feed in the way of emails, although I know there's an awful lot of people that do listen via live 365 because they send you numbers and amount of people who listen and where you are roughly and that sort of thing. So that's okay. And again, on the subject of television without commercials, as the BBC is here. Personally, it says here, I would love to have TV free of TV commercials. It seems absurd the cost to view commercials 2 of every 3 hours in the USA. And that's from, it's from Sweet. Oh, that's from Lisa. It is Lisa, isn't it? Hang on a minute. I've got an email from her here somewhere as well. I'm sure I have. It's Lisa. Yeah, it is Lisa. Hello, Lisa. All right, darling. Yeah, it's Lisa. So thank you for that, Lisa. Do you know, Lisa, I couldn't remember if you listened to a live 365 or not. Right, now, I've just got to have to do something because something's gone a little bit wrong here. And I shall be back in a tick. There we are, back again. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a problem there. Anyway, back we go to the emails. Hello to Peter, who says, hello, don't know if it's just me, but you haven't been putting your podcasts on iTunes for a while. Could you please do so? Unless, of course, there's something wrong. Anyway, just wondering. And that's from Peter. Peter, as soon as I got that from you, I went downstairs to my computer downstairs and I checked. I actually don't subscribe. I know it sounds silly. I don't subscribe to my own shows. So I then subscribed to my shows, and indeed, the last few, well, all the shows came down the line. So I must assume there's something wrong with your iTunes there. I haven't heard from anyone else with this problem. So I've got a suggestion. If you unsubscribe me on your iTunes thing, okay? Then shut down the iTunes program, open it up again, and subscribe again. Okay? If you just type in United Kingdom Talk in the podcast directory on iTunes, it's ever so. I find the whole iTunes thing ever so complicated, don't you? I really, really do. But if you do that, hopefully that will work. Alternatively, you can always download direct from the main United Kingdom Talk website. That's unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, Peter? Right, onward. Interesting here. On one of those anorak sites, I think it's digital, I don't know what it's called now. Digital Spy, I think it's called. Someone's been on there. And Eric, who was running the satellite station that's closed now, RTI, put the fact that you can now get my show, as it's not on RTI anymore, go to the website, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And someone's replied, is this the man that can talk endlessly about any subject under the sun? Can you talk for 3 hours, Chris, on the subject of warts, starting now? Well, I'm afraid, sir, no, I can't, because I haven't got any. However, if you want to bring yourself round here completely stripped naked, I'd be glad to talk about your warts, because clearly you've got a few of them. Digital Spy. I often go around the forums and people write the funniest things. I'm doing another show at the moment on an online station, all live, and what was I going to say now? Oh, on there, yeah, they again brought up this new show on one of the forums. Now I think again it was the Digital Spy one. And that they just overanalyze this stuff. You see, these are real radio anoraks. Now, I do not make programs for anoraks. I make programs for normal people. Anoraks, they sit there and they rip the program to pieces, looking for any tiny morsel of something that might have went wrong or anything like that. That's what they do. And as soon as they think they've found something wrong, they're there, bang, they're on the forum telling everyone else about it. It's all very sad, really, that people will live their lives to nitpick all the time. But it doesn't bother me, you see, because I'm old enough and I'm big enough for it to just go over my head. I feel sorry for the youngsters, you know, who might be just coming into this sort of thing and they can't handle it. And it's a horrible thing to do, really. All these wannabe podcasters and radio people who sit there just tearing other people apart. It's not a nice thing to do. I think it's a very sad and lonely thing to do, to be honest. It won't bother me in the slightest, dear. Here I am with my own studio in my own house. Please do me a favour. You're telling me I'm no good? I don't think so, dear. I don't think so. Lisa! This is the girl from... I knew there was an email from her somewhere. Lisa, who listens on Live 365. She said, that is... Well, hang on. What have I done now? I thought I wrote down something. 1 minute. Oh, it's all going terribly wrong. Is that it here? Hang on. What's that? Yes, it's it. It's all going terribly wrong now. I'm not quite sure where I am, dears. Never mind. If the programme shuts off suddenly today, then I've gone over time. All the timing's all gone wrong. Never mind. And Lisa writes, that is really something. You know, sometimes when you've been saying things about your cat's personalities and habits, it has reminded me a bit about Mamie. Now, Mamie used to be not very affectionate and typically a bit of a moody and aloof. Only getting affectionate for food and or my attention, was strongly focused on something other than her. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. They don't like it, do they? But ever since my mum passed away and has not returned, she has become much more affectionate and talkative with me. She follows me a bit more too. Oh, and she sleeps with me every night now. She seldom did that before, with either my mum or myself. My mum and I were close, as you can tell. After her stroke back in 1996, she went from being a very strong and independent woman to having to help with some things and having to use a walker, which I think a walker is a walking frame here in the UK, all right? She still insisted on doing some things for herself. But things like doing her laundry, dishes, fixing meals, and like that, I tended to for her. It was the hardest when I was going to college again back in 2003 to 2006. Since I too have a chronic illness and have had for many years now, it was far from easy for either of us all these years, but we had each other. Pretty much all our immediate family members had died from either heart failure or stroke complications as of 1997. And now it's just me and Mamie Kitty as far as family goes. Must be an awful thing to be going along at the speed of light and just doing normal things for years and years and years, and then suddenly, bang, that part of your life is ended. I know many people. Some totally disabled now. Look at those poor boys in the Iraqi war or the Afghanistan, from either side. Young men walking along, doing their stuff, and suddenly they've lost 2 legs or 2 arms or their sight. Just imagine that. Having everything that you have now, and suddenly, in a split second, it's gone. What a dreadful, dreadful thing that is. Similar with your mum and her stroke. I know where you're coming from there, because my dad had a stroke. He was a bit luckier. He was in a hospital. We took him to hospital, and they found a blood clot on his brain. And they said they really needed to remove the blood clot. But that operation itself was a little bit risky. And if they get it wrong, he might not wake up. He went ahead with the operation. And it worked. But after that, his speech was rather slurred. And I was a young man at the time, I suppose. I don't know, about 18, 19. And young men at that time of their lives are very impatient. We want everything done now. I haven't got much patience for for mistakes and things like that. And I was a bit like that. And Dad would try and talk to me, and I'd say, "What? What are you saying? What are you saying?" It wasn't his fault. I wonder what makes us like that as young men. Horrible. You know, it's thinking about it now, you just want to kick yourself, don't you? It must be terrible to suddenly find out you've got something. I too have been told I'm still single, says Lisa, because I'm too picky. Oh, do you know what? They tell me that as well, Lisa. I'm not picky. They're just not coming through, dear. They're not. The voices are not coming through. It's the voices in my head. They told me to do it. They told me to do it. She says, I think it's just like love myself, not enough to settle. I enjoy being with a man who is smart, strong, funny, not too arrogant, kind, likes cats, dogs and animals in general. Bleeding hell, you don't want much, do you, dear? One that is responsible, dependable, honest, open, with basic good moral values. Dear. These are the things I like to find in a friend too. Really doesn't seem to like too much to expect from a potential life mate, does it? Asking for a lot, girl. You're asking for a lot. I mean, I'd be quite happy with someone who's still alive, to be honest. She says, yet I have only come close to getting married to such a character once in my life. War is the main reason that we did not get married. Something beyond either of our control. He was Serbian in Yugoslavia. I know it seems like a romance novel, but it's a true story. Just about the time everything seemed possible for us, boom, the rug was pulled from under us and our plans. Then I lost contact with him altogether. Then Mum had her stroke, well, you get the idea. He was so handsome too. Imagine a cross between George Clooney from the show ER. I know George Clooney. I do know a few celebrities, but he's not my cup. But he's far too old for me, dear. God, George Clooney? He must be, what is he, in his 50s, dear? He's too old for me. I want someone about 30. Yeah, I know, cradle snatcher. 30. How old am I? 45. 46 next week, actually. Thank you. 45. I don't fancy anyone of my own age. I'm sorry, that's how it is. I was about 30 to 35. That's my ideal age. Anything longer than that, you should be locked up. And she says, and the Croatian fella who took his place on the show. I didn't really watch ER, but I know of George Clooney, yeah. And that guy's name was Goran. I think the actor's name was, she said. That's what Zoran looked like and sounded like. He had a sweetness, a kind of innocent, boyish charm most Americans do not have anymore, which made him all the more wonderful. So you see why I'm likely to die an old spinster. Well, better an old spinster than a young girl, innit? You know what I mean? Amazingly, I think I'm okay with that, although I would prefer to find someone to grow old with or young with. I think it seems not in the cards for me. Maybe you will find a sweetheart, but maybe you are like me and will continue the single solitary life. Well, I guess we are not without company. Our fur babies, cats, keep us company and on our toes, even though some may make fun of we folks that talk to our pets. Oh, I do it all the time. I do it all the time. At least it beats talking to the walls. Take care and keep up the good radio shows. Lisa, that's a fantastic email. It's just personal. Really nice email, that is. There's some sad bits, and then you pull it all up again. It's just amazing. An amazing email, that is. Really is. And as for Katie, I've got to tell you, I do talk to her. She now sleeps outside the bedroom door, okay? If she hears me wake up, I start hearing meows at the bedroom door. Yeah? And I open it and she's laying there on the floor. She has now, I believe, taken over the house. Last night I came in from work and she was having a funny turn. Now, she's not a young cat, okay? She's about 10 now. She was having some sort of funny turn and she kept, as I was walking around the house, she was chasing me. And then suddenly she shot up the stairs and she shot back down again and out the cat flap. I don't know what was possessing her last night. And she, you know, like cats, sometimes they have those mad eyes that open right up. She had those last night, and she was running around this house, and then she walked into, you know, they walk into the living room all up themselves, tail in the air, and flop down in the middle of the floor. Katie has taken over this house. She was possessed last night. Absolutely possessed last night, that cat. I'm telling you that now. Shocking. Right, boys and girls, it's time for me to go. Sorry we had that little bit of technical thing in the middle. You probably didn't know. All you heard was a jingle, but I've had to do all sorts of things to sort of join the show back together again. It's all gone terribly wrong today, but never mind. Don't forget, you can always join in by email. It's lovely to hear from you. We are nearly through the emails, okay? We are nearly through the emails, and I'm really pleased about that, although there is still another few here. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks so much for watching and listening. I'll see you on the next show. For myself, Chris Reardon. Bye-bye.